position, and it's different. We've seen a bunch of different kind of guys that play that position, and what you bring to that position, what maybe you're different than Castro and some guys before, and how you see that position different than a regular, if you will, defensive backs.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a tremendous just opportunity to be able to play that position. You had guys like Castro, Coop played the position, Amani Hooker, just so many different legends. And I just hope I can just pave my own way. I think those guys don't even realize, and I even forgot to shout out, the four before me, Dame Bell, and those guys don't even realize, everybody who's played the Cast position before watches guys like Castro, watches guys like Dane, Coop, and just tries to learn their techniques. And, you kind of got to put your own little sauce to it. So I'm excited to put my own little flavor on it and, and lead the Jersey in a better place.
I see you have your own cheering section right here today. Is that right?
Yeah.
She's sitting over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you like to see from the defense this year?
I just think just defensively, I think I can speak for the back end. I think we just got to get better at eliminating explosive plays. I think we're going to have an explosive offense this year. I think we got a great defensive line who works so hard for us, and I'm eternally grateful for the big work they put down in the trenches. But, it's time for us to return the favor for those D linemen and those linebackers. We got to eliminate the explosive plays, because if we eliminate those, I think it'll be a good defense.
How do you like playing for a Coach Ferentz?
I think it's just a tremendous honor, just a legendary coach, and I'm just internally blessed to be a part of that.
I understand you got a camp Saturday again.
Yes.
What got you into that?
I just always just wanted to give back. I just have been just so fortunate to have so many people just pour into my life. And I just hope I can just be that person, with NIL and things like that. I've just been blessed beyond measure, and I think they'll just be behoove me not to try and give back and impact the community.
What pulled you to Iowa? I mean, you basically live next door to Michigan, right?
Yeah. I think what just pulled me to Iowa was just the people, and I was just fortunate to take a visit with guys like X and TJ Hall, and I think when I just came on that official visit, I met those guys. I met Coach Parker. I met Coach Ferentz, and I was just able to be around the coaching staff, around the facility, and experience the culture. I realized that this is a program I want to be a part of. This is a culture I want to be a part of, and I just said to myself, I can't see myself anywhere else but wearing black and gold.
What kind of offers did you have, and was Michigan interested?
Yeah, no, I had offers from Michigan, Wisconsin, Boston College. I had a decent amount of offers, but when it was all said and done, I just couldn't see myself anywhere else but Iowa.
So we heard in the spring quite a bit that offense was getting you guys a little bit.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, is it quarterback play? What was it in the spring? Because we've covered this for a long time, and it's not very often we hear the Iowa offense is getting the defense in the spring.
Yeah, no, I think we had a new offensive coordinator come in. I think that first year is probably hard. Obviously I don't work in that side of the department, but just learning a new system, new terminology. I bet that can be difficult, especially before a fall camp and having to prepare for a season. But I just think they had that full year under their belt. Some of their bread and butter players are starting to feel like second nature for them. So I'm just excited. We've always had amazing, talented players on offense, and I'm just excited to compete against them every single day.
Heard a little bit about the receivers specifically, maybe getting the best of the DBs a little bit.
I don't know about that. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
no, but seriously, we have a great group of receivers who push us to be great every single day, and I'm excited to compete against them every single day. They could probably attest to that. They're excited to go against me.
Who's the wide receiver that gives you the most trouble in practice?
I'm gonna say this to all of them. Message to all of them. I'd say none of them. But.
Who's some of the players you watched growing up, or maybe you watch now?
So some players I grew up watching. Tyrann Mathieu. Just retired. He was a player I grew up watching. A guy like Brian Dawkins. I've seen some cut-ups of him. And then just an Iowa legend, someone I kind of was introduced when I came, Bob Sanders. That's a guy who's just been a staple, a guy who all safeties is trying to emulate a tough physical guy like Bob Sanders. Yeah.
That group in front of you, that linebacker group, a lot of turnover, obviously. I guess, what do you see from them? Why maybe will that group, or how will that group move forward after losing Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, you got to just shout out Coach Wallace. He's probably one of the best linebacker coaches in the nation, and so I'm 100% confident in whoever's out there. And just being a guy who's been out there practicing with them, I'm confident in Carson Shire, I'm confident in Jaden Harrell, I'm confident in Jackson Rethroth, Jada Montgomery, whoever's out there. I'm confident in those linebackers. They work incredibly hard. They practice so hard, and I know that no matter what happens, they're gonna just take the field and play with just relentless. And when you're playing with guys like that, it's pretty hard to not be successful.
Who on this team are we overlooking right now that maybe media's not talking about?
I think probably, I don't know who it is, but I know there's going to be somebody who's going to step up on special teams this year. And, whether it's a guy like Jalen Watson, a guy like Rashad Godfrey, Cale Clare, whoever it is, someone's going to step up on special teams, and they're going to win us some games this year. And whoever that person is, I just want them to know we're incredibly grateful to have them as part of our team. So.
Koen, you're going to see Penn State this year, and they brought in Devontae Ross to transfer from Troy. He had a pretty big game against you guys last year. What do you remember about him and how he was able to have that kind of success against you?
Yeah, no, I remember he's definitely a talented football player. He's talented with the football in his hands. And kind of like I alluded to earlier, I think we just got to find a way to eliminate the explosive plays. I think when you eliminate the explosive plays, those plays over 25 yards, it's kind of hard for teams to get the easy points on you. And I think as long as we can try our best to eliminate those big plays this year, we should be a pretty successful defense. Yeah.
What stands out to you about Drew Aller when you see tape or just highlights that you've seen over the past couple of years around the Big Ten?
I don't know too much about Drew Aller. I've seen kind of like the things on social media, but I don't take away from him. He's a great quarterback. Being a Power 5 quarterback, playing in the Big Ten is tough, and I'm excited to compete against him. Excited.
How would you describe that rivalry with Iowa State?
No, that's definitely a tough rivalry across the state. In Iowa, you're either Iowa fan or an Iowa State fan, so it's definitely a true rivalry.
So the guys were talking about how they started a YouTube channel called Chunky Golf.
Yes.
Have you been on, and you have a handicap?
I have been on the golf channel. I played them in their first 2v2 scramble with Coop. We also gave them their first L. My golfing ability, I'm not too good. I'm shooting like 90s, 91s. So, I'm trying to get there.
And obviously, the D-line, offensive line, that historically records at Iowa. Like for the DBs, what are some all-time records that you either achieved or you want to achieve?
Well, at least for the DBs, I'm going to shout out two guys. We got TJ Hall and Cale Clare. They both got the record for the fastest 5.10.5. So, we do got our own little records from the DB area. So, yeah.
And because you have such a great teacher, fans, and so many guys that come through the program, what do you tell the young guys, especially like these high school kids in these camps? Because not all of the translates to the field. So what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
I would just give just advice to any young guy. Just continue to work hard and follow the guys who've been there before. It's not really a secret sauce. You just got to follow the guy who paved the path before you. At Iowa, I'm just fortunate to play under guys like Coop. He paved the way, and he kind of just showed us the ropes. A guy like Riley showed us ropes. A guy like Kayvon showed us the ropes. And they kind of show you what to do and what not to do. And as long as you emulate them, you'll be in a pretty good spot.
What's your proudest achievement?
Proudest achievement, I'd probably just say this: getting selected by my peers. I'm not a guy who's played a lot, started a lot of games for the Hawkeyes, and just to have my peers just think so highly of me is probably one of the best accomplishments. I'm just internally grateful to be a part of this team, and I just hope that all my teammates know how much I love them and how grateful I am to just be a part of this team.
When you say getting selected, are you talking about getting sent here?
Yes.
Were you? When you were told that, were you surprised, shocked?
Yeah, I was shocked. KF, he kind of told us in the team meeting, the guys who were going to the Big Ten Media Day, and he said my name, and I was like, huh? But it's a great feeling, just to be selected by your peers, guys who I go into work with every single day, guys I battle with, guys I love, and when someone speaks so highly of you behind your back, it's definitely one of the greater feelings.